is a truth universally acknowledged that my taste in film, literature, and art in general is inerrant. In fact, it is the truth that is universally acknowledged. A pox on gravity, relativity, causality, and the elusive free lunch. That I am right is a mutable fact even at the depths of Dante's Descent. And yet, Napier, you deny the truth. You deny reason, you defy logic, and you put me in a position where I realize just how pointless this debate is. Why do I crave your humiliation? What will it prove? That I'm right? Why would I need to prove that? It's assiduously clear. But, of course, like the inductive questioner who persuades himself that all his pupils are of a lower phase of the evolutionary cycle, I already know the answer. All this time I was thinking that my passion was anger at your impudence, but now I realize it was something far more exhilarating. It was your fear. That's right. I know you were afraid of me. Very, very afraid. My passion has in fact been the sumptuous exhilaration of watching a specimen far weaker than I affirm my brilliance. Yet Occam's razor suggested to me that that aforementioned universal truth was not exactly misunderstood, but more denied by you. It is demonstrably clear what happened when you came across my review of 2001. You were absolutely in awe of it. However, instead of accepting me as your god, as most normal people would have done, you persuaded yourself that the only way to alleviate the suffering of your grim little life was to make yourself infinitely more significant. You defied someone you knew to be better than you, just to integrate yourself into a world of glorious salience. And yet, ultimately, you failed. And because of your failure, I have been treated to a most delectable series of pathetic ramblings. However, I think it is time that I go on a diet. I am feeding an urge that will perhaps lead to my own self-destruction. And as such, I shall no longer respond to your videos. Unless, of course, you offer a finer confection. I have not been noted by many as possessing a rather dim view of humanity for nothing. My hatred for this vacuous waste knows no bounds. Regrettably, though, I have neither had a sufficient lack of decorum or plain inclination to act upon these misanthropic views. However, wouldn't it be so awful if, through my divinely ordained words, I inspired someone to wreak havoc on, say, a shopping mall full of unsuspecting citizens with a fully loaded machine gun? Of course, if that happened, I would be in the most terrible position, would I not? Why, it could even require of me to personally respond to that individual. Maybe even recognize them as an intellectual peer. Who knows? The hypothetical has often been inclined to realize itself. Perhaps it might realize itself in this. But of course not. Why would it? If it did, it certainly wouldn't be funny. I am Film Freak, and I wish you all a very pleasant evening. The only thing you're a prime candidate for is a lobotomy.